You see, we control our brain does not control us. We live in a world where we're told that, well, you know what, your genetic code and this and genes and your past and everything determine who we are, but the stamps of your past do not determine your future unless you choose to let them determine your future.
And it's you and me, babe, whatever comes. Knowing bigger hands are holding ours, and the greatest days are ahead of us. Growing in love, learning to be a better us.
Hey, welcome to our home. We're so glad you're here.
Today you'll meet Dr. Carolyn Leaf. She's a cognitive neuroscientist.
It sounds like a lofty title, but she's pretty down to earth in revealing how our brains of men and women are really wired differently.
And that is often the cause of a lot of conflict, as sometimes we get our wires crossed.
And after 33 years, your wiring is still a mystery to me, hon.
Enjoy the journey, honey. And we're also going to hear from Dr. Mike on the beach, and he's talking about realizing the power of the little things.
Which can actually be big things.
And have a huge impact on our marriage.
We're going to talk about these things around our kitchen island with our kitchen couple, CFL football great Mike Pinball Clemens and his wife Diane.
And recording artist Dan McCauley and his wife Danielle.
It's no little thing that you're here today.
Stay with us.
No, we talk. Yeah.
We both do.
Yes.
I usually let her know when I'm shutting down.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
got 3 generators. When I'm down to 1, I'm out. So she knows that she knows. Pretty much. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm a night owl, so when the girls are in bed, we have 2 daughters. It's just the best time to talk. But my husband works at nighttime, so it's kind of he's shutting down already. So weekends are our catch-up time.
I like to talk, but then, it's almost too late when she's tired, which is long day for her too. So
Yeah, I retrieve. I don't talk. It takes me a while to talk, so that's something that needs to be worked on. Yeah, but, it's different personalities.
Exactly,
I'm
yeah.
introvert, he's extrovert.
Yeah, we're
so that's what it is.
well, that's what they say, opposite attract, right?
I think I'm probably a bit more of a retreater, and I think my wife is a bit more of a talker, so there's some fun there.
Yes, I'm usually the one talking. He's usually the one listening.
I grunt a lot, and then eventually I'll communicate.
I like to talk the day through. I like to communicate. I like to tell him what I did in my day.
Please remember that you are all brilliant, made in the image of a brilliant God. Genesis 1:26 says that we are made in his image. So he is brilliant, you are brilliant. Turn to your wife, turn to your husband and say, listen, I can understand every word she says because you and I, we're both brilliant. Okay, so and you're also a neuroplastician. Did you know you're a neuroplastician? You have an honorary doctorate in neuroplastics because you are able to change your own brain. Neuro means brain, plastic means to change. You are designed to change your own brain. You see, we control our brain does not control us. We live in a world where we're told that, well, you know what, your genetic code and this and genes and your past and everything determine who we are, but the stamps of your past do not determine your future unless you choose to let them determine your future. Being spirit, soul, body, what we need to recognize is that with our soul realm, which is our intellect, will, and our emotions, we are actually influencing how our body functions, and we are influencing our spiritual development, and that applies in a relationship. So how you react to each other, how you react to the events and circumstances of your daily life in your relationships actually changes your brain. At the end of the day, a man tends to go inside his head and a woman tends to go outside her head. So we think externally and with lots of words and emotions, and men think internally. And generally at the end of the day is when we are processing all the things that have been happening during the day, and a man's going inside his cave, you've heard of that concept, and a woman's coming totally outside of her cave, and that is where you can have a lot of conflict. And I remember at the beginning of our marriage looking at Mac and saying, what's wrong? And then he'd say, nothing's wrong. I'd say, but something's wrong. Look at your face. And there was nothing wrong. It was me assuming that he was thinking something. Meanwhile, he was just processing the day. And we could, so all these little misunderstandings can build. And the first 6 months of marriage is where a lot of really bad habits can build. And our relationships go through these phases. Now, when you first fall in love, there's this huge neurochemical rush. And obviously it's spiritual too, but remember, God made everything. So God gives you spirit, your soul, your body. So this whole spiritual mind thing in a relationship has a physical representation. So we have all this chemical rush and all this incredible electrical chemical stuff going on. You process each other, and you literally are drawn to each other by these different chemicals and electromagnetic forces, literally, that God has designed to attract us to each other. When we get married and we have sex, we actually then literally are building each other inside each other's head. So as you are forming that relationship, as you are intimate with each other, you're growing each other networks inside of your head. And daily, as you reach out and say, I love you and thank you, or you may be on the negative side, you are adding branches to those networks inside of your head. You determine what those connections look like. But we have this stuff, we are inside each other's head, and we need to grow that, like we need to have a relationship daily. It's a daily thing that we have to keep building onto these networks. So those patterns that you know that you saw your mother and your father and you see yourself doing, you do not have to stay in there. You do not have to stay bound in those reactions. You can wipe them out. If you've made bad decisions and you've now woken up in your marriage and you see your kids doing these things, speak over them, because as you speak, it's an impulse that goes in the brain. It's a signal that generates in the brain, and you can go in and you can destroy and say, it's not going beyond this generation. You can wipe out that negativity. You speak over them.
Well, we're here with our kitchen couples, Mike and Diane Clemens, and Dan and Danielle McCauley. Great to have you guys with us. We've got our A Better Us mugs.
Yes. Okay.
Well, that's some pretty fascinating stuff from a cognitive neuroscientist.
Mm-hmm.
And so she's brilliant, really. She has a lot of great stuff and books and everything.
According to
We are neuroplasticians.
That's what Ron said to me while she was talking. Did you know you're brilliant? Okay.
And so, first of all, it doesn't take a brain surgeon to know that men and women are different. Okay.
Very different. Very different. Okay. And the idea that men typically process things at the end of the day in their cave, and women process outwardly, verbally, with lots of emotion.
That's right. Lots of words.
Lots of words. You know, I think that was spot on. She hit the nail on the head. And I love at the end, she said, you need to go into each other's minds. And I'm thinking, if Ron did that, he'd say, boy, it's crowded in here. So much words, so much happening in here. But it's true, isn't it?
Yes,
we do. We
true.
verbalize at the end of the day. We need to talk to him.
Absolutely.
It's hard for me, as I'm not wired that way, okay, but my mind, I guess I can build those networks if I know that's one of her important needs.
He's under construction. Let's just put it that way.
We all are. We all are.
He's on.
And so I try to, pull myself out of the cave a little bit, because I know she needs to have that communication at night.
Do you guys do that too? Do you
The wonderful surprise, though, here is that I am the outward guy, and she is the inward.
Yes, we're opposite. Like, we're totally opposite. I'm the guy, and he's the girl. It's weird, but it works.
Let me get this straight. So at the end of the day, Mike, you process outwardly.
Very much so. Yes, absolutely.
I can see with his hand.
Yes,
absolutely. So, okay.
And I'm more the inward. So it's funny how that works.
So it's not the same for every couple, obviously.
Absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely. And we recognize that later on, we figured out, like, hold on.
But it didn't take me long, because
I'm more like the guy here, and you're more like the girl. This is weird, but
and there's nothing wrong with that, because
absolutely.
we talk in generalities quite a bit when we talk about men and women, but there are the exceptions to the rule.
And I think the idea here is that we generally are opposites, whether whether it's the man or the woman.
Right.
It's the idea that it is opposite. Right. And when she spoke of speaking into these ideas, I love you, saying it often, and different things. And for me, I'm a sports guy, right? So it really is any great team, there's not one thing that they do there are layers. When you have a great team, right? So you say, I love you. You leave notes. It's all of these layers of things that build the quality of this marriage. So she talked about building those layers. I mean, neuroscience for a football player. Little tough. I can get this. We can kind of put it there. Yes.
Yeah, well, a few concussions might hurt the neurology in there.
I want to hear how a musician processes this.
One word that I was pulling from it as she was talking was intentionality. Just being intentional. That seemed to be like the main overarching thing. The idea that you're not subject to the circumstances. You're not subject to your relational differences. I think a lot of times people say, "Oh, it didn't work for this reason, for that reason, and that reason." When really she's saying you can be intentional about it. You can. You have the ability to affect even the way your brain functions. So none of us are beholden to the circumstances of the day, the differences that we all carry as men and women. We can do something about it.
And we've journeyed through that because we are very different. I live with 3 boys, so I talk 3 times as much as all 3 of them put together. My caveman over here, I think I can think of a funny time. I would always ask at the end of a weekend, he'd be gone traveling, and my introvert would have to talk with people, and then when he came home, he'd want to come into his cave, but I'd want to hear all about it.
But there's someone in my cave. What
I want to hear everything. You're not I would say, so how was it? And maybe I should have asked more specific questions, but he would say, good, good. And one day, I asked him, so how was it? And he was really trying, and he said, musical? And he just gave me a different word, at least. Still one word, but he's trying and he's moving in the direction that I need him to be.
Okay.
Sometimes I have to pull Ron, like he said, I have to pull him out. And sometimes all I can say is, honey, what are you thinking?
Yeah. So that's one of the questions. I know that question's coming, so I gotta have an answer.
And that's how Michael is with me. It's like I'll just shut down and I won't speak a lot.
What do you think?
And I say, well, babe, just tell me what's on your mind. Like, what is it? And I struggle trying to find those words sometimes. And I'm thinking, I'm the one that's supposed to be going, right? But I find it hard sometimes.
But you have the perfect guy for you, though, because he's
it's a great balance.
It's a good balance.
Maybe we just need to train people in the Vulcan mind probe, and you can figure out what's going on. You don't have to talk so much. But no, we need to talk. It's important.
You don't have to talk so much.
And I think that's the beauty of it. Beautiful marriage, 25 years, and we struggle. Yes, and I think that was the overriding message there, is that we can struggle, and that's okay. That's all a part of the process,
You're
right?
Still on the journey.
That's right. Every day.
We're still
every single day.
Every day. We have to make the right choices.
And God knew exactly what we wanted, or what we
needed.
We didn't know what we needed. No. We just thought, oh, he's cute. And God knows.
He thought, oh, she's really cute.
Okay, well, we're going to be back in a little bit, so more with the kitchen couple, so stay with us.
Stay with us.
But I can actually remember a few days ago, we just had this conversation about how I was so much more confident now as a 37-year-old than when I was 20. And he said to me, well, that's because I've been telling you you're beautiful for 16 years. And it's the little things that add up to a big thing.
Hey friends, Ron and Ann here. We're so glad you're with us at A Better Us, and we pray your marriage is blessed as you take this in.
Be sure and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and enjoy this video.
Do you remember back when you first started dating your spouse? Man, I remember when I first started dating my wife, Crystal. It was pretty fun, I gotta admit. We did some little fun things all the time. We weren't doing big vacations, but we would do little fun things often. I remember I'd wash her car for her. She really liked that. That'd make me feel good, make me feel like I was doing something cool for her. We'd spend time together on the couch. I'd hold her hand. It was a nice little moment. I remember she bought me some cookies one time, and she got the Godiva cookies. That was a big deal for me back in the day. I took those cookies, and the little gift that she gave me meant so much. I remember I took them home and hid them in my closet. I wanted no one else to eat them. They were just for me. That's the kind of meaning and significance it had when someone did the little things for me. In my experience in the clinical office, most couples healthy couples, unhealthy couples, we pretty much stop doing the little things for one another over time. So I want to take this time and just encourage you, don't forget the little things. Don't forget the power of how it feels to have someone do something for you that makes you feel loved and honored and valued and cherished. Now I'm going to give you an assignment. You ready? You're getting a homework assignment from me today. Before the show is over, I want you to get a pencil and a piece of paper, and I want you to make a list of 5 to 7 things that make you feel loved, honored, valued, cherished, and respected. But the trick is, these things have to be little things, small things. Not a trip to Hawaii might feel great right now. I'm talking about what can your spouse do for you every day. I want specific things. Saying, help me clean the house is pretty general. Take your bowl when you're done with your cereal in the morning and put it in the dishwasher. That's very specific. And I also want you to have positive things. So don't tell me what you don't want. Don't write on that paper, I wish you'd quit nagging me. That's what you don't want. Tell me what you do want. And finally, no hot button issues. If you've ever thought about this before, don't put it on that list. So once you've got your list of 5 to 7 things, I want you to have your spouse do the same list, and then you switch. And you put those lists up on the refrigerator, and you commit to yourselves, to each other, that we're gonna do 1 or 2 of these things for each other every day. It might take you a total of 30 seconds to do this. Say, I love you, a kiss on the cheek, but those things will be incredibly powerful because now you're remembering the power of the little things. And I think over time, you'll find that as you do the little things, you've given your marriage an awesome tune-up.
Okay, so we're back in the kitchen with our kitchen couples. We've got Mike and Diane and Dan and Danielle. Okay, guys, the little things. I love this. Like trying to remember back when we were dating, you used to do a lot of little things. In fact,
Did I?
I had
Gotta remember.
this certain kind of chocolate that I really liked. We were in university when we were dating. He would buy it and put it in my mailbox. All the time, and I'd open my mailbox, and there was my chocolate, and just, the little things. They mean a lot, you guys.
And you would make sure. Yes, I played football pinball. She would come to all my games.
He played
She
football.
came to my games, and then when we were in the cafeteria line, because it was cafeteria style in school. And the football players got to have extra side dishes because they had that extra privilege because we need a lot of food.
Yeah.
But she never ate all her side dishes, even though she didn't need that many. But she would always get extra, all her
All that
allotment,
I was allowed, he would
and
come
she
right
would give it
behind
to me.
Okay, he would say, get that one, get that one, get that one. Anyway, but the little things, you guys.
That's right. It is. It is. A mentor of mine said, Mike, it's the little things. He says, by a show of hands, how many people have been bitten by an elephant? Nobody raised their hand. How many people have been bitten by a dog? Few people raised their hand. He says, now, how many people have been bitten by a mosquito? Everybody's been bitten by a mosquito. And it is the little things. And so the little things make such a tangible difference.
Yes.
And for this one, she is just so amazing at doing the little things on a consistent basis, day in and day out. And I feel so bad because, we were talking about the neuroplastic. So I'm not sure if mine continues to regenerate because I never know where I put stuff, right?
Okay.
And sweetie, do you know where it's right on the sink, honey, right beside. Then I'll ask her something, and she'll give the exact location. It's just amazing, just always in tune.
It means a lot.
It does.
A lot, doesn't it?
It does.
And you guys, the little things in your marriage too.
Listen, the dishes, that's not a little thing. In our house, that is big.
Especially when they stack up, then it's really big.
Then it becomes a big thing. But I can actually remember a few days ago, we just had this conversation about how I was so much more confident now as a 37-year-old than when I was 20. And he said to me, well, that's because I've been telling you you're beautiful for 16 years. And it's the little things that add up to a big thing. And I'm telling you, that's not when I have a makeup artist for a TV show. That's first thing in the morning.
Thank you, Julie.
Not required.
Unshowered, and just those little things every day add up to one big thing. That was huge for me.
That's good.
Well, Dr. Mike on the beach, he gave us a homework assignment.
He did.
And so we won't take the full time to do all those points, but
Let's
maybe
come up with one each. Like one thing that you would like your spouse maybe to start doing again, the little things. We'll start over here, Diane.
Okay, sounds good. Well, I know when we were dating, we had a long distance relationship and we were in university as well. And there was no phone, there was no computers. There was no, it was writing letters, right? And my husband, I'm telling you guys, the best poetry writer ever. I used to look forward every week. I would go to my mailbox and I would have a letter from him, and it would be the most beautiful poetry you ever want to read. And that's what I miss. You know, I would love to get some poetry.
Get that pen out.
We used to do it like I'd mail one day, one the next day, and one. So it'd be a continuing story sometimes. And for my bride, I really would. I don't want her actually to do anything. What I'd like her to do is actually to just come and sit. Because she's always so diligent, she's always so busy. So I want her, when the family's together, we get right, you know, in the evening, I want her each evening just to take a time just to sit down and just hang, just to be there, to be present.
That's the little things. Things. I love that. I like that. What about you guys?
How about a foot rub, honey?
Okay.
Does he have to wash his feet first?
Prerequisite. I'm on it. That is an act of love, and I will do that.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be every day.
No toe jam.
Not when you're done. I'm just joking.
Anyway, I love what you said, Diana. We used to be pen pal before there was email, all of that. We used to write letters, and I miss that too. But I think just words of affirmation, again, just building me up. And those little things over time, I think, are just so helpful.
You know, I detect a theme here amongst the girls because my little thing that I would love, when we were first married, we used to, before kids, and we were university, and we had busy lives. We had an apartment, just the two of us. We used to leave love notes for each other everywhere, all around the apartment. Little love notes. I would find love notes in the fridge or in the bathroom. And I loved that. And you know, we've been married a little while now, and those love notes have on both of our parts. But I would love to start getting some love notes.
Okay.
All right.
Point taken.
You go through that awkward period though, because it's awkward when you're older kids actually pick up those. You have to go through that.
You got to keep them family friendly.
Okay.
And well, how about a little thing that would be great, hon? Just I'm sitting there because a lot of times I just get tension. I tend to get it in my neck. Just come up and just
a neck massage.
dig into the neck massage thing. That would be a nice little thing.
I can do that.
Okay.
Okay.
So that's a good.
I'm on it.
It's a good start to our assignment from Dr. Mike.
The little things are important in marriage. And so hopefully we've given you some ideas too for your marriage.
Okay, stay with us.
More to come. As we all work to become a better us, it's so helpful to learn from the best.
That's why we make available to you some great resources at our online store.
Like this book, Cherish, by Gary Thomas.
Cherish. It's a word that Gary says changes everything in your marriage.
Millions of couples pledge at the altar to love and to cherish, and we hear about love, but what about cherish? What does that mean?
Discover it for yourself. Visit abetterus.tv and click on the store to order your copy.
You know, we had a revolutionary experience in our own relationship when we discovered that we walk different pathways to God, and that's okay.
Yeah, that there are different pathways to spiritual growth was such a good insight for us because I don't grow spiritually in exactly the same way you do.
And our friend Gary Thomas in his book Sacred Pathways really opened our eyes to this whole idea. I tend to be a little bit more intellectual with my faith.
A little bit more?
I resonate with the Apostle Paul. I like to study concepts like grace and dialogue with that and get commentaries out. And
you're about sermons and commentaries. I'm a contemplative soul. I like to sit with my journal and a cup of coffee for hours and meditate.
Well, I remember
on the
when we
Word.
first got married, and Leslie would like go out to like Starbucks or something, and Tim Hortons, whatever, and have some coffee, and like be away for I don't know a couple hours, and come home, and I'd say, "Where have you been?" She'd say, "Oh, I've just been with God." Like, for 2 hours, what'd you guys do? You know, I mean, I just don't resonate with that approach to God. That's a sacred pathway that is different than mine.
And they're all biblical. There's service, you know, there's visionary pathways to God.
There's nature. Some of us feel closer to God when we're, so.
In worship and shared worship and music. All of these are biblical, they're all valid, but we personally often walk a different pathway than our spouse does.
And that's okay. And so here's the deal. Recognize your spouse's sacred pathway and yours. Maybe they're the same. Chances are they're different. But validate each one of those. Don't think you have to convert them to your pathway in order for them to be close to God.
Right.
Hi, we hope you're enjoying the show.
You know, our vision at A Better Us is to see every marriage become a loving union that creates a safe family haven, building a legacy of hope for future generations.
That's why we feel it's so important to invest in marriage relationships through producing a new episode of A Better Us every week.
Absolutely. If you feel as we do that marriages are worth investing in, then please consider joining us as a member of A Better Us with a monthly donation of $25.
You'll be making a big difference in lives and families, and we'll send you 2 of our special mugs, the mugs that you see our kitchen couples using each program.
Absolutely. And be sure to send us your mugshot selfie, and we'll post it on our Facebook page and on our website.
Simply visit abetterus.tv and click donate to set up your automatic monthly giving. God bless you, and thank you so much for making this program possible and helping us strengthen marriages.
So we can all become a better us. Today, Dr. Carolyn Leaf explained how men and women's brains are wired differently. No real surprise there.
No. She also helped us discover how we're all neuroplasticians.
A fancy word meaning that we can actually change our brains.
And do some rewiring so we don't have to stay bound in negative patterns that may have even been passed down from our parents.
Absolutely. And we also had a lot of fun talking about the importance of the little things, those things we often forget.
And don't forget that homework assignment from Dr. Mike.
But maybe for you, you're dealing with some pretty big things in your relationship, causing a lot of pain and stress, and you're finding you need external help, like a marriage coach or a counselor. And those steps, they are good to take.
But may we also suggest internal help. You can call the number on the screen, which is our 24/7 prayer line. We would love to pray for you and help you do heart business with God, the only one who can do that internal work, which results in a better you and leads to becoming a better us.
We also have some great resources available through our website, abetterus.tv, including a free weekly marriage moment email to give you practical tips and encouragement for your relationship.
Well, thanks again for stopping by. And remember, with God, there is always hope to become a better us. Hey friends, we really hope you're enjoying the marriage conversations here with A Better Us on our YouTube channel.
We have hundreds of more helpful marriage videos designed to give you hope and tools to make your marriage better.
You can see just a few options we think you might like here and here.
Enjoy! Oh, and make sure you subscribe by clicking here so you don't miss out on all the great marriage help we have coming your way soon.